We have been busy making the Saturday morning tutorials for nearly a year now. With 35 episodes and 2 seasons behind us, we have been super busy making it awesome.
Visual effects is the name of our game. We try and fit as much awesomeness into our sketches as humanly possible. This helps us create the best downloadable content for you creators, and it helps us continue to improve our visual effects skills.
The skits that start off each tutorial have been a lot of fun to make. We're going to continue the saga and continue to introduce new and exciting characters. We're also going to teach what we can about our shooting process, but the real learning is all about the VFX.
These tutorials have grown and improved and will continue to do so over time. Since we just finished Season 2, we figured this would be a great time to show you our process. Ready? Let's get started!
Welcome to Saturday Morning Tutorials!
Oh, hey guys, how's it going? We have a shoot for the next 2 Saturday morning tutorials, and that is a lot of work. It's also a lot of fun. Monday comes around, I have to think of the idea for 2 videos. We usually start with at least a theme or some type of script before we shoot. I have 2 scripts set up for the next shoots. That includes the season 2 finale. I'm working on the apocalypse tutorial right now. We have the creature tracked into the scene. While I'm doing that, David's working on some compositing for the actual tutorial. And then Adrian is over there editing the actual tutorial, explaining how to do this effect. We have so much going on at the exact same time. We're tired and we're a little burnt out, but it's a lot of fun. But I'm really excited for the season 2 finale.
Now I've just finished writing the script for the tutorial. I'll kind of construct a narrative of what the shoot was like, and then I'll go through all of the After Effects files, write down how the effects were done in the most efficient and like succinct way that I possibly can. And when we go and read it, we'll just alternate reading these paragraphs. So this is the room that we record the tutorials in. It is our main room where we usually shoot the sketches as well. These are our microphones, and I'll drop this microphone here. I put Chris over here, which is as far away from me as he can possibly be, with us both still being able to sit on the couches comfortably. So we have clean audio of Chris, and we have clean audio of me, and we record these on a single Zoom H4n. One of us will go into the left channel, and one of us will go into the right channel, and that's just another way that we keep our voices separate.
So now is the point where we record the tutorial. We like to do usually 2 run-throughs all the way. One of them is a little more dry, so it's easier to edit. It's time for the Davesplanation! How's that?
That's really good.
Cool.
I've taken both of them and I've imported them here into Premiere. I'm just gonna right click on one of them and click Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. These 2 clips look different because one of them is Chris and one of them is me. So I'm gonna highlight this whole clip, apply Normalize Effect. When I apply that, it's gonna even them out. Apply the Vocal Enhancer preset. Okay, that sounds good. And to turn it into a mono recording, click Edit and Convert Sample Type and just change it to mono. And now it's one single file with both of our voices in it. Amplitude and compression, and click the multiband compressor, and I use the broadcast preset. It does a really great job of making everything loud enough and evening everything out. Save that. Back in Premiere, the file updates. Now it looks different because it saved all my changes. So now I just need to do the same thing to the second take, and then I'm just gonna go through and find all of the best parts of each one and combine them together so it sounds like we did a great job on the first try.
So while Adrian works on editing the tutorial portion, this is usually the point where I take over the sound design. I always use SoundsCrate content. I don't use anything else. I really want to capture that kind of like the desolate vibe. So this is SoundsCrate, and find all kinds of random stuff. You get some good variation just from like these 5 or 6 different sound effects right here. I think I could probably do it in like 6 hours or so. So I'm gonna dive into that.
Now I've got the edit to a point where I'm ready to start adding in the screen cap and the music if you want to take a look at this. So the reason that half of these are pink and half of these are green is because I usually color the first take green and the second half pink, and that way when I'm editing it and choosing between the two, I can visually tell that I'm not just being lazy and favoring one take over the other. And then all of these little blue parts here are, they're going to be like behind the scenes or just additional B-roll or behind the scenes or whatever. And I put those in first so that I can kind of see that they're pretty evenly spaced out, so that I know that when you're watching this tutorial, you're not going to be just staring at screen cap the whole time. Try to switch it up a little bit so I can help hold your interest. So this is my screen capture software. It's called OBS Studio. I think it's actually made for Twitch streaming or something like that. We have gotten a few comments asking why our screen capture looks so sharp, and people think that we might have a fancy screen capture software, but we don't. This is like bare minimum. The reason it actually looks sharp is because on this monitor here, I have everything set to display at 125%. The reason I do this is so that if you're maybe watching it on a phone or something, a small screen, or if you're actually trying to follow along, you don't want to have to go into full screen to be able to actually see what we're doing. So just to make it easier to watch, I want everything to be bigger and easier to read. I also hate in tutorials when it looks like this, when the people have their work very tiny in the center of the screen. You got to keep in mind when you're making these things that people are watching it, you know? So I always try to make sure that I'm zoomed in a bit. Also, a lot of times when I'm adding in effects, I'll like zoom out a little bit, and usually to 33%, and I'll put my footage right here in the corner so that when I'm editing with this effect, when I actually get into Premiere, I can crop my footage right there and zoom in on it. So that way the controls are easy to read without having to go into full screen on your computer. So I'm really always thinking about trying to make these tutorials easy to read and easy to understand. If you look at these over here, I have just the names of a bunch of different effects already typed out, and I recorded this with my screen zoomed in to like 500% or something to make these very crisp, so that whenever we say the name of an effect that we're using, we can zoom in on it and make it extremely easy to read. All right, the last thing I do before the final export is I'll export the audio of the entire tutorial, and I'll bring that into Audition, and I can look at it and just visually make sure that it's even. This looks pretty good. Then I'll highlight that whole thing, and I'll come up to effects, compression, multi-braid compressor, and again, I just use this broadcast preset, and then that makes it so that everything is as loud as it can be without clipping. And then I'll bring that back into Premiere, and then I'll export the entire thing, and it's ready to upload. When we upload the tutorial, we usually use the Premiere feature on YouTube. It's a bit of a controversial feature though. Some people really like it, and some people say that we need to stop using it. They really hate it and find it annoying. So I'll go ahead and take this opportunity. I'll put a poll up at the top of the video. Let us know for season 3, do you think that we should keep using the Premiere, or should we stop using it because it's awful? Let us know.
All right, creators, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging with us for these 2 seasons of Saturday morning tutorials. We're going to be gone for a couple months, but we will be back with season 3. Until then, we're uploading tons of new content to the websites, tons of visual effects, motion graphics, sound effects, music, and so much more content. And just because we're taking a break from the Saturday morning tutorials, it doesn't mean we're taking a break from YouTube videos entirely. We're going to be uploading a new Video Showdown episode. We're uploading a new episode of an entirely new show, and some other goodies that I'm not going to tell you about. You just have to stay tuned. Thank you so much for hanging with us, and remember to make it awesome.